Welcome to this week's Spinfoil Theory. We're about to take a dive into the lore of Destiny the game. Specifically, we'll be giving a high-level scrutiny to popular, emerging, and outlying theories, then judging them. With that out of the way, let's put on our Spinfoil hats and get a little crazy. Here comes this week's show. And we're going.
We're live.
We're here. We're here. Hey, welcome to the Spinfoil Theory podcast. We're your hosts. This is LadyLucida, Taylor B, and with me is LadyLucida. How are you doing, Lucy? How's your week?
Doing pretty good. The weather's finally getting nice, like actual springtime instead of that random
Lousy
snow. Like there was literally snow a couple weeks ago, and like last week, the week before, I don't remember. Time is weird, man. But yeah, no, it's been great. It's been great. I made pizza last night, like from scratch.
Ooh.
It was very yummy, and by me making it, Kelsey made it, and I helped.
Shake and bake?
I helped. That's all I'm at. And it was really good. Like, we both really liked it. It was really fun to kind of try. Because we had, like, always wanted to try making our own pizza. And we did. And it was great.
Nice.
A lot of dishes, though, but we'll get better at that.
It do be like that.
It do be like on one hand, like, we're like, oh, we don't want to just eat out, or like, eat, like, McDonald's or whatever sometimes. Or, like, processed food. But then, at the same time, we look at all of the, like, make it your own sort of things. I'm like, that's so many dishes, and we're lazy. That's exciting.
It's a constant balance.
It is. So I just try to do the dishes like right after we finish eating, so we don't have to like stare at the small pile of dishes.
Just because I too am lazy, so I'm like, let me just get this done ahead of time before I never do it.
Exactly. That's how I'm like. I'm just like, shoot, I don't think. That's, like, my big problem is, like, once I see it enough times, my brain just kind of erases it. Like, I just, like, oh, it's just a part of the sink. It's just a part of the sink now. Yeah. I don't need to clean that.
Just gonna work around it.
Exactly, just work around the dishes. But no. I'm getting better at doing that. But, yeah. What about you, Taylor? How have you been?
It's been a busy week. For me, I got but like fun wise, I got some cool stuff in here. I got these nifty dice I got from Dice Lab. So I got like these skew dice. I have a mathematically balanced D20.
That sounds
which
funny.
Is pretty cool. Yeah. Well, it's like most dice have it to where either end. So like for in the case of a D20, right? They have it so both ends like exact opposite each other equal 21. But you still end up with like a lot of like heavy sides, if that makes sense, because of the pairing that you might do. So this has it so every band equals, I want to say like 53.
Huh.
So it's like mathematically balanced. So you have like the best odds of a rolling initiative. I think you can possibly.
I see.
It's
like you're cheating.
I mean, I don't know if is using math cheating.
I don't know. Maybe?
Am I not allowed? Do I have to?
I'm sorry, math is banned.
If we could,
if
we could take all the math out of this D&D session, I would.
I think that'd be great if we just took math and just said no.
Freeform gaming. I'm here for it. So yeah. So I've had that. I've had fun playing with these. I have like a D60 and a D24, so I could do like time of day stuff if I wanted to, like, yeah. And they just have like interesting shapes to like a unique polyhedral, or like I've got some skewed D6s so they look like they're lopsided but they're not.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah, so that one, those are fun too. I got this you know me, I'm into the hackable device with the retro gaming. So Lucy's been having fun paying attention to me in the last like 20 minutes. I'm fucking around with this. I got a Miu Mini, I'm not sure how to pronounce it, but they're actually, it plays like a bunch of handheld stuff, I think up to like the PS1 Saturn generation of games. But it's really interesting. Like this was coming out as like a kind of competitor to the analog, that sort of like Game Boy handheld one they had come out, and it doesn't do everything that does. Like that'll play any cart with the right adapter, and I think they can even write like original games for it. So very, very like little more singular than that. But this thing's like a tenth of the price of that one. And so I saw this, I was just like, all right, and it is so tiny. But I've been setting it up. I played a little bit with the original firmware, and then me being who I am, I'm like, okay, let's put custom firmware on there. Expand, enhance, click, 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 click. Yes. And so that's what I've been kind of busying myself with. We were gonna go to a soccer game today, but it looks like it's like already started raining, so we're kind of like, nah. Not gonna go sit in the rain to see the Spirit. It's our local soccer team. But yeah, so that's my ramblings of what's going on. Oh, I finally got since our last recording, I finally got the goddamn red pointed inquiry.
Nice.
I am a gumshoe.
You are now free.
Yes, my watch is ended. I also did my dredging. So I'm a 4 times a dredging.
Nice.
Yep. Ooh, when's the next? Because I realized, listeners, if you didn't know this, there is a Triumph that came out this week at the time of this recording, which I think is like week 10, where if you get the ornament for the shotgun from Zavala, you get an emblem.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I need to know when the next time they're spiking up the Vanguard rank is, because I don't think I've like reset it once.
What?
Like level 10. Yeah, I just don't do a lot of Vanguard stuff.
Dude, next time it's double Vanguard, just go do like a Shadows, you'll have it done. Or Arms Dealer. I guess hope that it's like whatever the Nightfall is an easy one.
Mm-hmm.
Because when I did it, it was Arms Dealer. And we just went bam, 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 super fast.
Okay, I need to see when the next double Vanguard is, because I just want to get up. I like the emblem looks cool, but I'm just like, you really hit it behind Zavala, you bastards.
Yes.
Because I totally went after I got the dredging, I realized it was double infamy week, and I was just like, all right, well, sigh. I guess I'm going back into Gambit, but I enjoy Gambit. It was fine. Oh man. So yeah, that's a nice little goings on in our lives. This week, everyone, we're continuing our sort of rounding out our investigation into the Witch Queen and seasonal activities, and we'll be going in and investigating the PsiOps and sort of like what Savathun really like. What's going on with the PsiOps? Like what's their end game? Because it seems kind of random, right? If you're not paying too much attention, like you go in there the first time and it's just like, oh shit, are they taking our light? And it's easy to write that off because like that's what Hive do. Oh, is that a guardian? Let's go take his light. Yeah,
let's go eat it for breakfast.
Yeah, I'm just gonna flay it off. I like the thin stripped light, nice and lean.
I only eat Void Light. I'm sorry. I don't. That Arc and Solar Light. No, it's correct. Only Void Light for me. Sorry.
If I could get some Soylent Light, I feel like I would just.
That's great.
2 pumps, non-mocha, frap light.
Now I'm just picturing a freaking Hive wizard as a Starbucks barista.
Yes. Yes.
There's just a Starbucks inside Savathun's throne world, and it's like
it's got to be a scorn. 1, because they won't be tempted by the light, but 2, they have the arms for it.
True. Also true.
It's twice as but yeah. So
it's Rolk. It's in front of Rolk's pyramid, the Scorn, because they're now part of the Witness. They set up a little coffee shop in front of the pyramid.
Yeah, they're settling down. They've got they found the new master. They've
got some infrastructure, now they're building coffee shops. Yeah, totally.
It started out with fight clubs, and next obvious progression, that was a rough neighborhood. Now we're building coffee shops.
Exactly. See, it makes sense. It all makes sense.
The property value is going to skyrocket in that pyramid. Just you wait, guys.
Just you wait.
Get in now. So this week we're taking a look at PsiOps, getting a little back on topic here. So yeah, you go in and it's really, it starts off as sort of almost like the beginning of your work with the Cabal. So it kind of has the same starting point as Vox Obscura did, if you remember our episode a few back on that, where it's kind of starts in the middle of the campaign and you go to the tower, you have a cutscene, you start working with Caiatl, and in PsiOps, what you're doing is sort of like a counterintelligence, almost. Because what you're doing is you're going in, you are, one, discovering and investigating why the hive, like the Lucent hive especially, are capturing these guardians, and then two, you are capturing them for what ends up being some kind of fucked up purposes, which we'll get into here soon. But to figure out what's going on and who's behind all this. So yeah, I definitely liked it. When you as you progress through the line 2, you actually, PsiOps is what gives us a lot of really cool insight into the dynamic that Crow has now that Crow regained Uldren's memories, which has been, what are your thoughts on that? I think it's been really interesting. Yeah.
Yep. Poor buddy. I think it's really great. Or not great, but it's like really interesting. Because now Crow kind of has this moral dilemma. Like, is he Uldren? Is he Crow? Does him having Uldren's memories make him Uldren again? Or no? Like, it's a really interesting dilemma. Because, like, us as Guardians, we don't know about our past. And that's on purpose. Like, if you read the Witch Queen ARG lore, which has now been published on Bungie's website, it's very long, but there's one part where Ikora is talking about how the light forgets, but the darkness remembers. And one of the things she says is the light forgets so that you can start over, so to speak. You don't have those tethers, those bonds to the past. You can start over, it doesn't matter. Not that it doesn't matter, but like, your past doesn't define you. It's what you do in the present, while the darkness, like, remembers and is like, almost, the darkness is remembering to protect itself. And the light is forgetting as like an act of mercy.
Yeah, I agree with it. The word that always stuck out to me that Ikora used was the light gave you grace.
Exact quote. Yes, grace. That was.
We kind of get a taste of this as an early example that mankind was exposed to before the completion of the collapse in the Europa stories, because Banshee gets brought up right alongside Clovis Brea. I think Clovis Brea is actually, you know, comes first just because that's a quicker process, I guess. Yeah. But when he wakes up, he immediately rejects himself.
Precaution. Yeah.
And it's,
yeah, exactly. Like it's a very similar process as to becoming an Exo. It's almost like becoming a Guardian. So I feel kind of bad for Exo Guardians because they lose their humanity or lose their memories not once but twice. Just want to give those multiple times. Exactly, depending on how many times they've reset, they could have lost their memories countless times. But at least twice, if not. And just give your Exo Fire Team members a hug, man. Just be like, it's okay. It's okay.
Especially if they still have base factory parts. We need to get the Exos, the aftermarket parts.
Yeah.
They need it. Those who know what I'm talking about. Not everyone got Elsie's chassis. I'll just put it that way.
At least the earlier models for Exos didn't. They kind of got run of the mill, but as I guess DRE progressed, I guess the understanding of the dissociative exomind syndrome or rejection syndrome. As that kind of progressed, I guess my assumption is that over time they kind of realized, okay, the exo body needs to be sort of close, like a estimate. But obviously, if you have more money, you can,
Yeah, like it was definitely hierarchical.
Nepotism and that sort of thing with the exos. But yeah.
Yeah, it definitely seemed like not everyone was created fairly or equally with the same amount of resources, for sure.
Yeah. For sure.
But one thing I'll touch upon that though, there's an irony there, or I think a missing piece, because that would be the only instance of darkness causing you to forget.
True.
Yeah. That would interesting. Did he accidentally make light? Is it really, instead of like a flat line, is it more of a bow? So you can go so dark that you eventually accidentally start becoming light again?
Maybe.
You can definitely go so light that you end up being dark.
Yeah. That's true.
I think we've seen that in a couple,
we've definitely seen
examples.
that, but I think the forgetting wasn't necessarily a darkness thing. That was something like a failsafe that Clovis put in the exos.
So more like accidental grace.
Accidental grace, I think, is a good way of putting it. Clovis accidentally became somewhat of a nice person. JK, he's garbage. I mean, he is.
He's a garbage man. If you could just...
Yes.
So what are you, Clovis? A garbage man? Oh, I'm going to do that. Hold on, let me write that down now. Simpsons, Clovis Bray, garbage man mean. Yes. Haven't been... it's funny. The last couple memes we did for the show, Lucy, got a nice response to Deej's thread where he asks for memes.
Well, that's good.
To inspire him.
Us just sends him shit posts.
Oh, yeah. No, I always say, got you. We got this. It's going to be good. It's going to be good. But yeah, I thought you'd appreciate that. Okay. So going back to it, where were we? We were talking about
the
Exos,
light and PsiOps.
Guardians, the light. Yes.
Yeah. So basically, if you haven't played through Witch Queen by now, it's been out for a while. So go play it. It's great. But basically, the ending of the campaign ends with Savathun stealing the Traveler, putting it in her throne world, capturing it. And then what she was going to do, she was going to cut her throne world off from the rest of the world so that no one else could go in. So she would basically be protecting the Traveler. Seems like in a way, kinda. In a way. But us, the Guardian, we obviously thwart their little scheme. And the Traveler, boop, pops right back in the last city. I'm very surprised we didn't hear like a cutscene or anything with it would have been cool at the beginning of it. There was a cutscene where the Traveler went whoop and gone. If that'd have been kind of creepy, kind of horrifying, just seeing empty.
It would be horrifying unless they had the most adorable sound effect for him to go away, like just a Traveler gone.
It was like whoop or something funny. I could see that, but I digress.
Sorry.
No, it's fine. I was just thinking. I lost my train of thought.
I do that. I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. Basically, we obviously stop Savathun, and the Traveler returns back to the last city. Everything's Gucci, great. And we also kill Savathun. But Amaru, Savathun's ghost, he escapes. We didn't catch him. We didn't have a net big enough to catch him. He ran away. So we're like, dang, that sucks. But we have Savathun's corpse. That's the important part, because, as we know, as long as the physical body is still there, is still alive, a ghost cannot res their guardian. We know that because there is a lore book It was in the Ghosts lore book. Not Lucent Tales, but like the Ghost version of that. I'm blanking on the name.
Ghost Stories.
Yes, thank you. Ghost Stories. In Ghost Stories, there was an entry where a Ghost's guardian was on the Almighty and got stuck in a Vex trap, and he couldn't do anything because his guardian was... He couldn't res him because his body was still there. So, using a similar thing, Imaru is kind of SOL right now. He doesn't have his guardian. He's kind of trying to wrangle the Lucent Hive to do stuff, but that's also where Wellspring comes in. Wellspring is kind of thinking it like a balance, like those old balances you had in school where you had like there was like the little pyramid in the middle. You had to like balance, kind of like a seesaw, I guess. You're trying to balance the seesaw.
The scales.
Scales, yes. I couldn't think of the word. My brain is literally empty, guys. Brain empty. It's like
you got rid of all the math you couldn't remember.
Exactly. Once you get rid of all that math, there's nothing there. It's just blank. But basically, it's like balancing on a scale, because you don't want... That's why Wellspring alternates between attack and defend. Because when we're attacking, we're making sure that the Wellspring doesn't teeter too far towards the light side, because that means the Hive will then become light empowered. That's bad. They're already kind of annoying. They're not a joke on Grandmasters. You want to see them being like that all the time? No thank you. No thank you. So that's why we do attack, so we make it a little bit... We lessen the... I don't say we lessen the light, but we tip the scales into the other direction. But we don't want it to be too dark, because if it's too dark, then the appended and the pyramid can destroy things. And that's bad. We don't want that either. So we need to have this nice balance. And speaking of balance and the Wellspring, there is a lore tab that got recently updated with this past week. And it is the, let me find it. It's called the Jasmine. It's the ship from,
Jasmine?
Yeah, Star Jasmine. That lore tab got updated recently, because before, it accidentally had the wrong lore tab, and it was, I think, one of the raid armor pieces. But now it's it got changed. Now it's correct. And so there's a story of Savathun talking to a guardian. And basically the gist from my understanding, let me go find this lore tab here.
Very interesting.
Yeah, it got changed. It had the wrong lore tab, and everyone was like, oh, this lore tab is now completely, utterly different. That's... Yeah, Star Jasmine. It's a recovered censored law, and it's basically between Umana, Osiris, and Savathun.
Ooh, okay.
Yes. Because I guess this was where Savathun was hiding the real Osiris for a little bit. My guess is this takes place before season 15.
All right.
Because she's in her throne world.
Mm-hmm.
And this has to have taken place directly after Season of the Hunt. Or no, not... directly after Savathun's switcheroo. Because the Guardian, Amuna, she didn't know that Osiris didn't have the light anymore. So basically...
Interesting.
Savathun kills this Guardian and either uses them to power the Wellspring, give it that initial charge of light before she did all of the rest of her plan to have the light, or it's something else. I'm thinking that's what a lot of people said, and it seems that Savathun literally tells this Guardian her entire plan, because I'm gonna just read a little part of it where Amuna is like, but with Osiris's light, wait, are you saying Sagira is gone? That he doesn't have, and then basically this is a transcript of it,
mm-hmm.
but there's chunks where it's rebooting, because this is was sensor logs. And then basically Umana continues saying, what you're saying is true then we're on the same side. And Savathun says, no, child, we work to the same ends. Our roads are quite different. And then Umana continues saying, you don't have to do this, please stop, you're gonna do bad things. Savathun says, an end must be reached, a journey chosen. We are not all of us burdened by the comforting lies of false sacrifice. All I require is to relieve you of that burden. And then Savathun notices her ship or whatever is recording, so she destroys the ship. Yeah.
That is way wilder than
what it was originally. Yeah, what it originally was I think it was a duplicate of the raid armor pieces. If I look at it, yes, yeah. If you read it, this is one of the raid Titan armor pieces.
Ooh.
It was raw, and oopsies, they fixed it. So it's definitely kind of scary though, because Savathun had this whole plan figured out way before. She's been putting these chess pieces up a long time. There's the Star Jasmine lore table.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, it got updated. Yeah, because basically it was just this one Guardian versus Savathun, Osiris, who was in comatose, suspended animation sort of thing. And then 81 Hive designates unknown. So we don't know if they're Lucent Hive or not. We don't know. Still very exciting. So Wellspring was a part of Savathun's plan, ultimate plan. Was basically using Wellspring to make sure Rolk doesn't escape. That was basically its main purpose, was to lock Rolk in the pyramid. Which I think that might have been why she took Umna's light. Was to kind of give it that that initial spark, you have to light a fire, you gotta give it a little spark. And then then the fire's there. I think that's what Umna's light was used for, was that initial spark for Wellspring, that initial lock on Rolk's pyramid. So that Rolk couldn't escape while Savathun, did her evil plan to get the light. So that's the Wellspring part. And then with PsiOps, kind of like how Taylor said, it seems kind of weird, especially with the ending of the campaign. Or Savathun's big plan was to steal Chapel. Okay, makes sense. But in PsiOps, we find out by the end of it that they were stealing all of this light and everything else to manifest Savathun's throne world in the real world. But that doesn't really make a lot of sense, if you think about it. Because Savathun's original plan was steal Traveler and protect it in her throne world. Why would she go through the effort of then, putting it in basically a pocket dimension where it's safe, to then manifesting it in the real world, and now the Traveler's no longer in the pocket dimension, but back right where it started? Doesn't really make a lot of sense to me. So I personally think that this PsiOps, stealing the light and manifesting the throne world, is a contingency plan Savathun left place. Or maybe it's even Imaru's plan. Because as we've seen with the Imaru lore tab in the Lucent Tales, that he's planning something. He's definitely planning something. He's tired of people killing the Hive Ghosts, which, if I was him, I kind of agree with him. I know Amaru's kind of, a bad guy, but he's got a point. When we're the only people that are we're kind of the aggressors in all of this. We went into Savathun's throne world. We crushed Hive Ghosts, But on the flip side, they then retaliated against us in PsiOps and started killing Guardians. So it's this fighting. Everyone's fighting. Then there's me in the corner saying, hey, why can't we be friends? Please? I will literally pay Bungie to give me. I just want Lucent Brood stuff. I just want to be their friend. I just want to be their friend, man. I mean, we saw in the one of the Lucent Tales where a Hive Guardian was starting to question why they were killing why the Hive were killing human ghosts. Like, why? He was like, why? He looked at the ghost in his hand as, I guess, his ghost or some voice was telling him to crush it. And he's like, no, I can't. And he just let it go. It's like the Hive, that's proof that the Lucent Hive they can change. They can be better. I mean, like, Guardians, when they first were rezzed, we weren't all bamby-pamby kumbaya. There was the Warlords, and then the Iron Lords. And now eventually, hundreds of years later, now everything's fine.
Yeah. It did take us a minute, though.
It did. That's what I'm saying. It takes time to kind of learn what to do and how to act and that sort of thing. It's like they're babies. They're just like babies. They don't know anything.
Just learning their shapes.
Mm-hmm.
Trying to... I can dig it.
Learning their colors, you got purple, orange, blue, darker blue. That's something I wonder if... Because the reason the Hive couldn't use stasis was because of their worms. That was why. Basically because they had like a middleman between the darkness. They couldn't use stasis. Taken can because Taken are direct to the source. Scorn can because they're direct to the source. We can because we have that innate umbral.
We had it in us all along.
So what I'm wondering, can the Hive now use stasis eventually? Maybe. I'm not sure if it's just in us, like a humanity thing, because, we have this umbral core, or if it's kind of like the light, where the light is in all things. And that's why like the Elixni with splicers can use the light. The Hive with Lucent Brood can use the light.
Yeah.
I wonder if darkness is like that too. I wonder if that's how it's gonna be, where how everyone can use light or dark, it's just how you use it. I think that'd be pretty cool.
I'd be into it.
I think that might be where we're going after Light versus Dark saga. But I don't know.
Ooh.
I don't know anything. That's just my thoughts. I'm just like, maybe. Because, it just, I don't know. But yes. So, personally, I think PsiOps was like Imaru's backup plan. Or maybe Savathun's. Oh, Savathun has Savathun. She's smart, crafty. She probably had contingency plans upon contingency plans upon contingency plans. But I do admit it is kind of funny that by a random stroke of luck that one of the crystal pieces stabbed her, and she's like, "Oh God, I am dying. Hey, traveler,
and I'm dead.
Can you do me a solid, traveler? I'm a die, and you're gonna res me, right? Right? Okay, cool.
Wouldn't it be funny if we came all this way and you just didn't?
Yeah. And I do think it's kind of funny. I do think it's very funny, and I just want to be friends with the Hive. I think maybe eventually we could be friends, but I think it would take a long time. Because they've done a lot of bad. A lot of bad.
Mm-hmm.
But you can't, with the Lucent Hive, I'm assuming they don't get their memories back. Just that Savathun, with her astral projections, basically goes into their mind and kind of tells, or I wouldn't say indoctrinates them, but kinda indoctrinates them and says, this is the way, this is what you do. These guys are bad. We are good. I mean, is that not any different than the speaker? I'm just saying. I mean, the speaker told us we were good, we were protecting our god, the traveler, and we need to stop the agents of the darkness. That's literally the same thing Savathun is doing. It's just we're on opposite sides of the coin now. Which is so it's so good. I love it. Witchpoint is so good. I love this. I love this game.
Yeah, I can dig it. Yeah, it's it's definitely an interesting an interesting line to kind of like
think about. Yeah,
tread. Yeah, because the one thing that's bothering me is you still end up in this situation where the traveler is no longer speaking for itself again.
Kinda, yeah. Like,
and that's like you specifically said.
Yeah, no. I hope the traveler will speak at some point again soon. Like, that'd be pretty cool. If the traveler was like, yo, sorry about that. I was taking a nap. I was taking a nap. What'd I miss? Oh, yeah. I mean, that, actually, you're wrong. The traveler has spoken since it spoke to Rolk in the lore tab for the Raid Ghost. Imperator's son?
It's yes, I agree that is most likely the traveler. It is not spelled out for us that is the traveler or some sort of like fail safe within the ghost or that's the one part like yeah.
Yeah, I think it's the traveler speaking, but
I can't say it's not. The only thing I'm saying is like just to manage our expectations, listeners mine. They didn't expressly say it, and there's been stuff that we thought was pretty like, oh yeah, this makes perfect sense before, and then when they spell it out, it's like, oh yeah, psych.
Yeah, definitely. But I'm just saying, like, assuming that is the traveler speaking, then it's spoken a little bit. It doesn't like the disciples. Which I do think it's great now that they've kind of canonized the not canonized, but like, the disciples are a thing, which now explains why the collapse was so chaotic, and like, we have different accounts. We have like, Ada's, the founders, their account, we have Cade's account, we have other people's accounts of like, all this different crazy stuff happening at once. And we're just like, oh, which is the truth? But now we know they're all true because all of the disciples were there T-posing on us, doing, like, Rolk was probably here doing stuff, and Disciple McGee was over there, and, all these different disciples wreaking havoc and doing stuff, which is really kind of terrifying. I mean, we killed Rolk, so I'm curious to see if we'll see any other disciples.
I mean, Rolk might have been the first. It didn't say he was the last.
True.
So I think it'd be interesting if, especially as we move in to the final shape and beyond light and dark, I think it'd be interesting to learn more about the pyramid infrastructure, or at least about the witness. Because for all we know, disciples could be like either precursors or like it could be some way to become part of whatever the witness is. And so like it might be able to work both ways too. It might be able to like, all right, well, you beat this guy who couldn't quite do it yet. Boom. Like what happens if I break off this piece of myself?
Yeah.
And now you got to fight that. That's just a taste of my power though.
Unlimited power.
No, I'm so weak. Ha ha, unlimited power.
Yes.
Okay, so Savathun and Imaru subsequently have been capturing these lights and storing it in. I love that they're storing it in those sort of bells.
Yeah.
That you see through all, because that was, I don't know if I'm sure you remember, Lucy, but listeners, if you don't remember, for a while there, before we got to that part in PsiOps, I was thinking that was maybe like an Oversoul type thing, because it had like a similar like look to it.
Yeah, for sure.
Similar vibe. But that turned out to be how they stored the lights. So they're storing it for the Wellspring. We are both allowing and disallowing them to do it. I think by the end of PsiOps, what we've pretty effectively like put a stop to them harvesting Guardians.
Yeah, but one thing though is, I think originally the original plan was to use the light for Wellspring, and then once Savathun kind of went gone, adios, because we now have her bot. They didn't have it in, I guess, like a freezer or something. I don't know. Like, her body is in a safe, locked key, you know, nobody gets in. I mean, maybe Ikora, I don't know. And I think once Savathun is now in our custody, I think their plan shifted to now manifesting the throne world in the real world, so then they could win, I guess. That's what the final science is. We're stopping the ritual to manifest Savathun's throne world in reality, which, I mean, that sounds pretty bad, I think.
Yeah. Well, yeah, they were trying to. Well, I think it also had to do with, there's also this contingent of. I think that takes place before. No, that would take place. That would take place canonically after when the raid happens.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
that's in the 5th week. So I think that makes sense. They were waiting. Plan shifted, right? They were once they realize, the threat from Rolk is gone. They're like, yo, let's take our power, because they're kind of sequestered. That's the one thing about the throne world is they're able to bask in and sort of operate under Savathun's influence. It persists even with her death, but they're not really. You can't really launch anything from there without maybe. Oh shit! Do you think what they were trying to do was a little bit of inversion?
Maybe.
Invert the throne world. Save the cheerleader. If anyone understood that reference, I will send you a sticker. First come, first serve, while supplies last. I could see that as interesting too, because it's not the only thing that Amaru does after Savathun dies. Amaru also goes looking at other, what I'm going to say, gosh, like pyramid weapons, kind of like the glaive. That's because that's once you finish the hidden investigation board, that's when you start getting the quest for the exotic glaive that is unique to each class. So like you only have to complete the board once. Then the ones for your other 2 characters can drop in Wellspring activities. But the first time you complete the board, you do all the little different investigatory steps, and it leads you to. It kind of gives you a little bit of insight as to how much Amaru is willing to escalate things now.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah. At the end of that, but I think that kind of goes back to maybe their attempt to bring the throne world into our world.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of lends itself to that, because then I think they can like start launching from it and just pouring out these like lit up hive.
Definitely. Or maybe, assuming this is like let's say hypothetically, this is Amaru's plan. Amaru needs to get Savathun's body back. Where is Savathun's body most likely held? Earth. That's why they were on the moon, because the moon is a nice little staging point to Earth. It just makes sense. Also, something else I thought, what Imar was doing in that quest was he was trying to replicate resonance. How we're able to just craft weapons. That's like kind of a thing you can only do at that relic on Mars.
Yeah.
What Imar was trying to do was using the Osium fragments and the resonant runes, to try to do weapon crafting for the Hive. And weapon crafting, I mean, you can make some pretty broken guns, like the Raid Grenade Launcher with Enhanced Ambitious Assassin and Enhanced Chain Reaction. That's pretty stupid. Like, you can go... If the Hive got that kind of capabilities, they could make, like, thorn weapons that can just, pew, one shot, oh, you're dead, you're dead. Like, they can make some pretty powerful weapons. So, like, I think basically Amaru was trying to do a lot at once. He has a list of contingency plans. If this fails, do this. If this fails, if, a lot of if statements.
If then?
Yeah, if then.
I hope you wrote that in an easy language for automation.
Hopefully.
Then we get to the other side. It turns out he's just a query expert. He doesn't even maintain the database. He's just, how do I look this up? Their psyche uses Java, the worst of all languages. Sorry. Okay. So with that, I think the ultimate thing is that we haven't really touched on yet is, even though the missions themselves seem a little par for the course, a little like, oh yeah, Hive are doing fucked up shit to Guardians. Like, what's so weird about that, Taylor? Is that, I think we touched on this earlier, when we capture these Hive Guardians, we go in, we mind bend our way with the help of Scions into their head. We very violently free them of Savathun's influence. And then one thing that that kind of struck me is we kill their ghost
in their brain,
in their head.
Yes.
Yeah.
Does that mean we sever their connection to the light? If we kill their ghost in their head?
I think it fucks with them.
Yeah, I think it's definitely like, if some Hive guys just like went in my brain, beat me up a bunch in my head, and then just took my ghost and went crunchy crunch, I would be a little morally like dead. I would just be like depressed and like,
this seems bad.
Yeah, like I know a lot of like Crow, not the whole season, we had Crow's perspective of, hey, maybe we shouldn't be doing this. And then Saladin's perspective where, hey, an act of mercy can lead to unintended consequences. Which I think they are both correct. They're both right. Because Crow's right. Like, if we do too much bad things, we kind of lose ourselves. We kind of lose, like, what makes us the good guys if we do really, really bad things? And yes, in that little story, Saladin said he did do an act of mercy. However, I'm not saying it's his fault that all of those people died. However, if he had actually taken care of the instead of just saying, oh, yeah, here you go, bye, have fun. If he had, like, brought her to the Iron Temple and, or put her in the care of, like, actual Iron Lords instead of just explaining to this is what makes an Iron Lord an Iron Lord. Go have fun, kid. Like,
Good luck.
Good luck. And, like, he didn't really notice there were, like, some signs, especially if you read the lore book, An Act of Mercy, it kind of goes a lot more in depth with what happened, where how, like, when Saladin was killing all of the bad guys the first time, it turns out that he told her to hide and not look, but she ended up looking anyways. And she was kind of, like, excited / not horrified about Saladin just, pulverizing people with the light. She was like, oh, that's so cool. Violence.
So, like, give me some of that.
She was I'm not saying she was always evil or always bad, but I think she always had that everyone has the capacity for violence. That's just, I just think if Saladin had done a better job of teaching her and maybe checked in on her a couple times instead of checking on her that one time, and then not checking in on her for, like, years and years and years and years and years. I'm just saying, they're both to blame. They can both be right. Saladin and Crow. Because, like, personally, I think Crow is right. Because, forcefully going into someone's mind and beating them up, severing their connection with the light, maybe, and then putting them in this alive but dead stasis, that's kind of messed up. But on the other hand, from Saladin's perspective, they are our enemy, and we need to understand what's going on. So it's like they're both true, I think. I'm not sure. What do you think, Taylor? Are you Team Saladin or Team Crow? This is a joke.
It's a weird. I'm Team Caiatl. That's who I am. But it's a tough one. I think you're right. It's definitely a hard decision because these are, resurrected or not, these are enemies who are actively stealing, stripping, and killing fellow human guardians.
Yeah.
And to have them in this sort of state where they aren't dead, but not alive, and I'm thinking, I worry because I think we did kill their ghost.
Yeah.
Because after Crow tries to free them, he ends up killing everybody.
Yeah.
Like the big deal is the Scion, but he killed the Hive too. Like freed them, right? And I would imagine if they had ghosts, or maybe it's a similar situation where the ghost gets away, because it doesn't really show us killing the ghost either. But, like they stay dead; they don't get rest. Now that they're actually like dead, and so it's a pretty, like what you were doing to them. On its face, I would agree. Like what we were doing, like having them trapped in this like invasive sort of a mind space. Yeah, that's probably some kind of war crime.
But it's not war crimes if you win. Sorry, it's a terrible joke. Yeah. No. It's a joke. It's a terrible joke. But
but at the same time, like like I've also never been in that kind of a desperate situation. I've never been to where like, hey, we're down to one city, and like everything's closing in all around us, and now these guys are taking away not only like fellow people, but they're taking away like the people who can actually protect everyone else that's left.
Yeah.
Ooh.
That's rough.
Yeah, and so I don't know what I would do. Because I feel like a lot of Crow, what Crow is acting through is them remembering Uldren's memories.
Yes, I think Crow is trying to atone for what Uldren did. And let's be honest, he didn't know that pushing that button would kill the Scion. He didn't know. But also, I feel like Crow is trying. He feels so guilty for what Uldren did that he kind of wants to die. He's kind of in this, like, self-destructive, catastrophizing thing. Like, I've been there where I've been, like, really self-destructive. I'm like, man, I suck. I'm the worst. Like, I don't deserve this. I don't deserve that. Like, I know what that's like. And that's why I just want to be like, hey, let's protect Uldren. Let's protect Crow. He's not Uldren.
Yeah.
He's not Uldren.
I like that
I just want to hug him.
I like that the more that time goes on, pretty much the tower, like not just the leaders of the tower or the vanguard, but the tower as a whole seems to be accepting that he is Crow, not Uldren.
Well, not everybody.
Not everyone, but it's been more and more gradual, right?
Amanda certainly doesn't.
Well, no, because the thing where she's crying, why did it have to be him? I'm pretty sure that takes place last season.
Yeah. Well, she knows.
That's back when she like first found out. Yeah.
She knows now, but now she kind of is all like making snide comments towards him about him. Oh, that sparrow's fit for a prince, huh? She's mad. She can't separate Crow from Uldren. That's her problem.
I thought she had kind of gotten over it at the end of last season, or like gotten to the point where she was taking steps. Obviously, she's not perfect. You can't just like turn something like that off, and that's a good nod to the writers there too. Just realizing even if someone's like telling you they're going to try to do better, it doesn't mean that they're going to be like great about it, but it's not like flipping a switch.
Yeah, for sure. I definitely hope that Crow and Amanda kind of work through it because I thought their banter and stuff was really cute.
I liked him too. I liked a lot of people wanted to ship him, but I was just glad to hear like Amanda is so damn independent.
Yes.
That I can't really see her. I could see her hooking up with someone. I can't see her in a relationship.
Yeah, for sure, for sure.
And Crow's kind of like he's in. What I love about it is he's in that awkward place that I don't think he can tell. I'm not saying Amanda is, but he can't tell if someone's flirting with him.
He's oblivious. That's why we have to protect him. He's oblivious. He's a poor lost puppy.
Yeah, so he's... Oh, itch my eye, sorry. So that's an interesting thing. I guess to round it off, I don't know how I would have acted, but then again, I don't know that I would have been even let in on that type of thing, even if I like were my guardian and everything were real. So yeah, I don't... I like how it shook out. I like that we didn't necessarily lose anyone. What we did was we gained a stronger alliance through the hardship because Saladin understands. Saladin was just like, oh, you guys are warlike, huh? I'm gonna out-war you. And he got
I will be the better.
Yeah.
Yeah,
he
no,
got promoted
that
from
part was
Brachus
so
to Valis
fun.
in a week.
In a week. like he got there and all these other Cabal like, this guy's nothing. This Saladin Forge guy. Nah, he's a wimp. He's a loser. I'm gonna show
More
him
like
what's
Brachus,
what.
bitch.
Yeah, he's cringing. they were talking smack. And like, all right, yeah, Bright's approving. Let's go. You v me. Let's go. And Saladin's like, all right, bet. I got the light. You don't. Ding, ding, mother trucker.
Winning. It's murder.
Pretty much.
Oh, I love it. I think, yeah, no, he went in, and for anyone who doesn't know, like the last cutscene you get is him going off and he's Brachus, but the last like message you get is an update a week later, where it gets relayed to you, and then I think you also get some in-game lore that you can read from an item, but where you learn that he fought one of her Valises, and he like destroyed this guy, and after being challenged to single combat, but apparently he like wasn't the first guy. That was just like the highest ranked guy. He's like getting tired of it. He's like trying not to like kill everyone just to survive there.
He's like, please, I don't want to kill everyone. I don't want to make Caiatl mad. I'll just beat you up. But this guy was probably just like really annoying, and he just...
Yeah. So I really like how he's been able to thrive, like sort of taking the what the Iron Lords had to be, like real like honor duty bound, and then applying that to being a sort of ambassador / Valis on Caiatl's war table. Yeah, I think this is gonna work out very well, like story wise, and I think just as like political moves for the last city. Aces couldn't have worked out better. Like in a lot of ways, maybe we should thank Crow.
Maybe Crow inadvertently...
For being oblivious.
Thanks, Crow, for being oblivious, and everything works out. Like, we even saw that, like, Saladin is, like, doing, like, an Iron Banner mini version for the Cabal so that they can get stronger, too. I just can't wait for, like, one time, like, a drop pod comes in, and it's a gold and green Valis, and he's, like, Iron Banner colors, and we're like, he's one of Brachus Forge's iron war beasts. So that's what that's what he calls his legion, the Iron War Beasts. The Iron Lords. It's so great. It's so great.
I'm just imagining him with a giant Cabal,
giant
maybe the
Cabal
heir apparent.
dog.
Yeah. Yeah. Like he's got his own war beast that he's sending up, but then he's got like the giant gun because he put he left the which, by the way, we got to get at least as an ornament. We got to get that axe. What I assume can be used as a glaive. Yeah.
Or a finisher.
Oh, ¿por qué no los dos?
Yeah, why not both? Yeah. All right.
That's what I want. Okay, but yeah, I think all in all, you know, it was really smart how they interconnected the Wellspring with the PsiOps, because and kind of like stemmed those two, and then Vox Obscura from that same divergent story thread from the main narrative of Witch Queen, which is like our fight with Sabathun, etc., etc. Yeah, just total aces to the writing team. I think this fit perfectly. It's one of those things where you're not trying to fit the lore in the right lore shaped hole to get it into the box and make it make sense. What you're doing is you are fleshing out the entire broader picture.
True.
And seeing what's happening at all ends. So I want to say in a lot of ways this is the first release / season to go along with it, where I think they executed it so well. So yeah, kudos as to that. Lucy, you got any final thoughts?
Final thoughts? No, I think everything's pretty straightforward. I think we covered everything. I'm really excited to see if we get any more, because that was more of like a Lucent Hive themed stuff. I kind of hope we get some more Lucent themed stuff.
Yeah, I think that makes sense. They're not going anywhere. They can't die. So
yeah.
I think we'll have some contingent or persistent thing again about them too. And it's really funny. What is it? The light blade. We also don't get his ghost. So that's 2. And Maru and whoever his ghost is gone.
Yeah.
So maybe we hesitate too. Maybe we're like that Hyvie boy. Didn't want to crush the ghost in its hand. I think those can kind of count for my final thoughts too. I think this fit really well. Lucy, you got any shout outs for us this week?
No. Pretty much makes sense. Oh yeah. You got any shout outs?
Yeah, actually. For those of us, for those of you who are kind of big into the lore community there, you probably heard or saw this week that Focus Fire Chat it won't be coming back. It's coming to an end after I think 6 years.
Oh wow.
Yeah, of doing the show. And there's a message from Blue out there. I first got into Destiny lore, Lucy, I don't know if you knew this, by going to their Discord and their hanging out in their community. And a lot of what they cultivated there inspired me to be here with you on this show.
Aww.
And yeah, and so it is kind of bittersweet to see him go away, but I get, life happens and things change, people change, and sometimes it's just time to move on.
Yeah.
So to gosh, and I hope I don't forget anyone, to Just Insane, to Steamin' Willie Beeman, to Blue Crew 86, to Orchid, to was it Bearded Grizzly, to Mal, gosh, and I don't. Oh, Penn's Halo too, just a big part of their community, even if he wasn't on the show outside of Halo episodes. But yeah, I know you guys aren't gone forever, and I do cherish your friendships, yours and all the ones I made through your space in the lore community. But best of luck to all of you, man. You guys, I think I posted this on Twitter, but you guys left us better than you found us. So thank you.
Yeah. For sure.
So yeah, with that, everyone, I think that's a great place to start talking to you, the listener. Treat yourself. Have you been hydrating? I would like you to be appropriately hydrated and temperate. Do nice things for your back. I don't care how old you are. You only got the one. At least till they design some kind of sexy robot back.
Yes.
That you can get for a premium. But yeah, no, take care of yourself. Take care of each other. And if you're in the hemisphere moving into summer, in having a nice wishy-washy weather spring, yeah, get excited. I think it's going to be nice and pretty, and I'm certainly anxious to get a little outdoors again after just a long time of really doing anything. So yeah, with that, guys, we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
Toodles! Hats off, Guardians. That's it for this week's discussion. Have any questions or comments about this episode? You can reach out to us on Twitter @SpinfoilTheory or write us an email at spinfoiltheory@gmail.com. If you'd like to read our show notes, check out articles, listen to past episodes, and more, be sure to pay us a visit over at our website, spinfoiltheory.com.
The Lore Network.